Okay, welcome everybody to today's open forum, our last open forum of the year. Appreciate everybody coming in this morning. I know it's holiday season and guys are getting ready to for the holidays, but I appreciate you guys coming in. This is always our most sparsely attended training of the year, our goal setting session. People do not like goals, and I don't know why, because they're very important and you need them. And I think that it's just years of maybe like New Year's resolutions where people just toss them by the wayside, but these are goals and these are things that are going to make you successful. You'll be very glad that you did them, and you won't be sitting here a year from now wishing that you had. So it's important that we do this. Do you guys have anything to talk about before we get started? Anything pressing before we get started? If it's just a real estate related thing, we can talk about afterward, but let's get started then. I'm going to share my screen. I shared a couple of links in the chat for this, but I'm going to share with you the one from CE, the CE shop. Real estate goals, 5 smart goals for real estate agents. And we're going to start from here. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Those of you guys have done this before. I do this every year. I do it once during the mid-year, so I guess I do it twice a year. Just to check up on where we are in our goals. Guys, goals are a way to be accountable. And if you need an accountability partner, we can do that as well. Some of you guys have got coaching before. I've had coaches come on and talk to you guys, and some of you guys have taken them up, or some of you guys have gotten your own coaches. And that's the main thing that coaches do, really. You guys have, any of you who've had a coach, the main thing they do is hold you accountable. Because activity breeds success, guys. It is absolutely true. You know this from your own thing. You guys have all been in situations before. Maybe you were desperate or just broke or whatever, and you really put your nose to the grindstone and you hustled for a little bit and you were successful. And then you got comfortable and you stopped. And that's happened to a lot of you guys. So let's look at this, guys. This is how you do it, and this is if you do it right now. The beauty of this business is if you do that, you build up a base, you build up a referral base, you build up a client base, and then you have deals that just come in every single year. It's like a book of business, and it's fantastic. This is what you guys need to do. SMART goals. SMART is, of course, is an acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. You can't just say my goal is to do better. You have to break this stuff down. Measurable, how much better is it going to be? Attainable, don't say you're going to go from 2 deals this year to 102 next year. Relevant, to achieve your real estate goals, you need a real estate business plan and the necessary human resources and finances. Just make it relevant to what you're trying to do. And time-based, it has to be by a certain time, obviously. So in 2024, I'm going to do this. In the first quarter, I'm going to do that. In the second quarter, I'm going to do that. But guys, this is where I like to break down for you guys. Let's go into it, and then we'll do that. Complete 10 sales calls a day. All right. So this is what I want you guys to do. What I want you guys to do is think about your past. Think about how many deals, or ask someone, or talk to someone who's in the business if you're newer in the business. How many phone calls do you have to make per deal that you get, or how many do you think that you would? And if I want to do 5 deals a month, I want to have 5 closings a month, or maybe you want to have 1 closing a month, whatever it is that you want to have. If I know that I get a closing for every 50 phone calls I make, that means I need to make 250 phone calls a month to get those closings, right? Do the math on this, guys. It's all simple math. It's not algebra or anything fancy. If I need to make 100 phone calls, I guess it kind of is algebra. I need to make 250 phone calls this month. How many do I need to make per day? It's just division. And then how many do I need to make? When am I going to set aside? So the next thing you do is you set aside a time every day. I know Tammy has done this. You set aside a time every day that I'm going to make phone calls. And be that phone calls to new clients, phone calls to old clients, phone calls to whomever. Maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's emails, maybe it's whatever is working for you. And think about what you need to do. Maybe it needs to be, I need to make 20 phone calls and 10 emails every day, or vice versa. I know you guys don't like phone calls, whatever it is though, make calls on people. Okay. Maybe it's reaching out to them on their social media, maybe it's doing whatever, but you've got to make this effort. What do I need to do? What am I getting a return from? And do what you get a return from. And, a lot of the things that we do throughout the year, I present with you guys with, whether it's Reminder Media or some of these social media companies, people that help you, people who will sell you leads, people who will help you farm your own leads, whomever it is, you need to see what works for you. And the reason I present all those people to you is so you can decide what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you, might not work for the next person. So whatever it is, they're giving you some examples here. Maybe it's 10 sales calls a day for this person, whatever it is. 10 calls is a pretty good target, and all your calls, make sure you have meaningful conversations with your prospects. Well, you may want to make as many as 100 dials per day. If you don't have meaningful conversations, it will only cost you more revenue with no progress in your business goals. So make sure you're talking to 10 people a day, or whatever that number is for you. Your goal could be schedule at least 2 listing appointments a week. Depending on your state or target audience, you must craft the best ways to get real estate listings. In some cases, you may have to meet with prospects over a cup of coffee, while with others, you may have to attend community events or implement online strategies. Regardless of the method you implement, the goal is to schedule at least 2 listings per week. That's how you get sales, guys. Post on social media once a day. Guys, we can go over this about the actual strategy of this some other time. Social media has taken center stage in real estate industry. A study by NAR, about 77% of real estate agents are already using social media platforms in some way. And you're probably sitting there thinking, I bet it's higher than that, but that's because those are the ones that you see. Follow up on leads within 3 days. I am not crazy about this one. You got to follow up on leads in this social media day and age. You got to follow up on leads immediately, ASAP. Whatever you want to set your goal to be on that, then set that goal and follow it. But you got to get to these leads. So people always talk about, oh, I was buying Zillow leads, but man, they sell them to everybody. This lead's been sold out to everybody. Or I got an Opcity lead and they'd already been contacted. Yeah, that's not what's happening. What's happening is they're going on Zillow several days in a row, looking at several different houses and sending several different leads to people. Not on purpose. They're doing it by putting in different information or doing whatever. Or they go on Zillow and then they go on Trulia and then they go on Realtor.com. And so they're going to be sending out a lot of leads. You've got to be the first one to follow up, and follow up with something relevant. Not just follow up and say, hey, here I am. Follow up with something that adds value. One of the things that we teach about this is let them, educate them a little bit. Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a member of the National Association of Realtors, Florida Association of Realtors, and the local board of Realtors. I'm also a member of the MLS. There is no agent, Pauline or Ida or Nohemi, can show you anything, any property that I can't show you. No other agent can show you anything I can't show you. Just, let them know what's going on, who you are, that whatever else you want to say about yourself, obviously, and that you're the only person they need. The average public does not know what they think. Every house has a different buyer's agent. They don't know listing agents from buyer's agent from selling agents. They don't know any of this stuff. Educate them. Let them know that you're the only one they need. And absolutely, I can show you that house. When's a good time for you? Can we look at it today? I've got some opening today if you'd like to go today. Whatever it is, right? Also, this is a great approach. Yes, I could show you that house. There are also, 3 or 4 around the block if you'd like to look. Maybe here's a link to them. Put some thought into this and get back to them with something that's better than what other people are going to give them. Because what they hear from you guys? They hear is, I want your commission. That's all they hear. So you got to give them something that's of value. Sorry about that. I just don't like follow up on leads within 3 days. They're long gone in this day and age within 3 days. Close on 4 real estate listings per quarter, whatever. Yeah, they're just throwing in numbers, guys, whatever it is. Short-term versus long-term real estate goals. Let's go. Okay. Measuring real estate goals and staying accountable. If you want to be a successful real estate agent, you have to determine what success looks like. Measuring what you've achieved and comparing it to your goals will give you a clear picture of where you should put more effort or the changes to make. And this is an important point, guys. What I'd really like to see you guys doing is tracking your success. How many ever deals you've had in 2023? How did you get them? What was your best year? Was it 2019 or 2021 or whatever it was? How did you get those leads? What were you doing differently then than you're doing now? And yes, times change, but what were you doing differently then than you're doing now? How are you comparing to the rest of the market too? Your 2023 might have been down. Well, guess what? Everybody else's was too. Just the market, when interest rates double, that's what happens. But what are you doing towards 2024? I can tell you that a lot of agents are getting out of the business because 2023 kicked their butts. What are you doing? Now is the time to grab more pie. You guys have been saying when the market was so great and we had everybody out there doing business, you guys were saying, I can't wait till the market slows down. We get rid of some of these bad agents. Well, guess what? The market slowed down and some of the agents are out of the market. What are you doing to take a bigger piece of the pie? The pie has shrunk. Now's your time to take a bigger piece because the pie is about to blow up again. I think these rates get back down in the sixes are getting there now, and then they're going to get down in the fives. And I think people are going to start moving again. I think there's a lot of pent up demand, a lot of life changes people have been waiting for to get going. And I think that's going to go because right now, like we've talked about, nobody's getting rid of their 3.25 interest rate to move into a 7.25 interest rate. So that's what happened in 2023. 2024, they will be making those moves because interest rates don't make as big a difference as actual house price. And if you ever want to talk about that, we can talk about that too. That's a numbers thing, an analytical thing. But it's always better to pay less for the house. And just the simple version of that is when I go to sell it, nobody will care about my interest rate. They'll care about the title company on my settlement statement will care about what I owe the bank, not what my payment was. Okay, so you always want to pay less for the house if you can, and that's an important message to get across to people. It's better to pay $450 for a house with a 7% interest rate than to pay $475 with a 6.5% interest rate. So if you need to go over those numbers, we can go over those another day. So this is, I'm going to turn that off. You guys have any questions on this? Any comments about this? What goals have you guys set and how have you done with them? Anybody want to talk about any of this stuff? Guys, today's session, just so you know, this is part one. We're going to get some ideas for goals. I don't expect you to leave this training with goals, but I want some ideas for goals because we're going to address this again in 2 weeks. So spoiler alert, we're going to have a low attendance again at the beginning of January because I'm going to go over this again the first Wednesday, which I believe is the 3rd. We're going to go over this again and we're going to talk about actual setting some goals. And I would love for you guys to share some of that. But today's an idea. Today's to get ideas for what your goals are going to be for 2024. All right. Any questions on this stuff? How did you guys do? Tammy, you know I'm going to pick on you. How did you do in your 2023 goals? How did you do keeping them, not accomplishing them? How did you do like paying attention to them, following them, accountability?
I think the only goal I had, and I failed at it, was, I don't know if you remember, I wanted to start a YouTube channel and video houses, but I never did it. So that's what I was going to write down is like how to, there's a guy at Panera that I've met, he's EXP, and he's very diligent about going out and videoing himself in houses, but he's got the person that will edit his videos and he's got everything in place that makes it kind of easy for him to do that. So I want to try to figure that out.
Do you know any kids, young people?
Yes. I have kids myself. Yeah.
I know you do. So
actually, I have a grandson too.
Well, congratulations. Do they know any, not the grandson, but the kids, do they know anybody that video, can do this stuff?
Well, they probably could do it, but you kind of need somebody that can edit it and put the music to it. But my grandson, he's 8. His goal is he wants a YouTube channel. So we could work together. I'm just teasing, but
that's actually not a bad idea. Get him involved in your promotion. And I'll tell you, let me tell you a story about a friend of mine who has a food truck. He put on 2 days ago, he put on his Facebook that he needs some social media help with video editing, etc. And the next day he had someone helping him for almost nothing.
Really?
So yeah, you just got to put it out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that as well, Ryan. But the other thing I was going to say too is that Full Sail, you can always look for interns as well. And I think Full Sail is there in Orlando or somewhere roundabouts, and they're looking for opportunities for video editing and photography and logos and all that stuff. Just for credit for class, you can do that.
Oh, wow.
So I would check out Full Sail, UCF, and some of the other colleges locally.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good idea. And if you don't have enough for them to do, maybe we could do something as the brokerage and lend them out to people.
Yep.
Really cool. So yeah, that's great, Tammy. What about your phone calls you were going to do from 10 to 11 or something?
Do you have a list of my goals in front of you or something?
I just have a memory for these
You on the
things.
spot.
I think about you every day at 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, Tammy's picking up that
Oh, yeah. Tammy's failing today.
phone. I'm sorry, Tammy. That's exactly the last thing I want to do is pick on people about their
No,
goals.
I'm teasing.
I know
I'm
that,
fine.
but I'm just giving an example. That was one of your goals one time.
Yeah, I know. As we were talking, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember I was going to try to do that every day.
Yeah. What Tammy, so, and the reason I pick on Tammy, she's a great realtor. Tammy, how do you find most of your deals? Aside from the referrals and stuff, well, tell me that too. What percentage of your deals are referrals?
Oh, I need to, like you said, I need to go back and look. More and more of my deals are referrals. And people I meet, like my Pilates person in my Pilates class, I'm going to go list her condo. But yeah, I've gotten a listing in January. So that was the bed bug. That was a referral. And
When you say referral, you mean previous client referral?
the bed bug was somebody I know, and he called the guy because he knew the person that passed away and said and gave him a good, told him that I was referred him to me.
Mhm.
The other referral, we just got to talking, and she's going to be selling her condo. What else do I have? I've got another one coming, I think.
How do these people know you're a realtor, Tammy? You're Pilates instructor, etc.
This one we were talking, and she's in the Villages, and we were talking, and she said the Villages are really political. I'm like, what do you mean political? And she's like, well, I'm a mortgage broker, which I had no clue she was a mortgage broker. And I go, oh, I'm a real estate agent. And then she started telling me about the political thing of the Villages. And then she just was going to have a condo here because she's moving to the Villages. So, and I've called her because now she doesn't come to my class. So I've just kind of called her and kept in touch a little bit. And so she finally called me yesterday I'm meeting her Friday to list it or to take a look.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about that, the Villages politics thing. Apparently you put your political affiliation by the color of the loofah on your
Well,
golf
they sued a bunch of real estate agents, a big lawsuit.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like people infringing on. That's a whole business there.
Yeah.
But
But I have another, I just have people that like I had another girl that I've sold. She was a lead, but then I sold her a house, then we sold that house, and then I just drove down to Vero and she did a new construction with Miranda, which took forever. We just closed it, and she sent me a text like, thank you so much for your personal touch. And then she told me, she goes, I tell everybody about you, blah, blah. So she has referred me a few. They haven't necessarily panned out, and I'm sure everybody's got the same stories because everybody has good personalities and people like them. And I'm sure they get referrals too. So I'm not the only one.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but what I'm suggesting is, how long have you been in the business?
Well, I've had my license like 20 years, but I've only been full-time since I came with FRI, which is I think I've only been full-time like 7 years or something.
About 7 years ago.
And I was so worried I wouldn't even be able to make money to live.
Right.
I was so afraid to make the full-time jump into real estate and leave my full-time job.
And you've done
sounds
outstanding.
like me right now.
But Yeah, that's true. And that's been outstanding. And Tammy is a very, very hard worker too.
I could never go back to a job if I mean, hopefully I never have to, but it's just after you do this, it's kind of, I just love it so much.
Well,
I love what I do and I love helping people.
right. This is a whole nother training here about why we all got into the business and how to take advantage of that. But what my point is I didn't really have a point. I had questions, but one thing I want you to do is analyze your business, Tammy, and see where most of your business is coming from.
And I did do that the previous year. I think I did do that. And most of it, surprisingly, was referrals, even over Zillow. Although Zillow's business has turned into referral business too, because those people, but like just now I wrote down, okay, I'm going to go get some poinsettias. And there's an old client that I have that I'm going to go drop a poinsettia off at her house. And then I used to do that a lot. It's kind of a lot of driving, but I just try to keep people in mind and reach out.
Okay. So Tammy, would you, and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know the answer to this. Would you say that your strength is working referrals and your weakness is maybe social media?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. What do you think you should focus on in 2024? Your strength or your weakness?
My referrals, my strength, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you guys need to embrace your strengths, maybe nip at your weaknesses, but embrace your strengths. That's where her business is coming from. I don't think, and I don't mean this in any bad way, because I'm right there in the same boat with you, Tammy. I don't think either you or I.
That's in our Android phones. It's the Android phones.
I don't think you or I are going to be YouTube sensations or TikTok sensations in 2024. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what's bringing this in the door, and especially something like referrals. And then the same with social media. Referrals grow and grow and grow exponentially, because every time you get a new one, now those people are out there doing it. Mm-hmm. It's like multi-level marketing, but it's good. And it just grows and expands. And one customer becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, etc. How many ever they send you, and you're taking care of them. And I love that you're delivering. And that's like second nature to you, because you're grateful for them. You're going and taking them a poinsettia. Guys, contact people because you're grateful for them. And you guys could tell by Tammy talking, and this is why Tammy picks up customers at Pilates class, because she has a great personality. She's just vibrant. She's everything. And a lot of you guys are like this. A lot of you guys are grateful and happy and everything else. And there are different styles. Not everybody can be Tammy. Yeah. Not everybody can be, positive and grateful all the time, or show it all the time. But there are different styles too. There are some people who are everybody's best friend, like Tammy, makes you feel like that right off the bat. And then there are other people who are more analytical. Some of you guys aren't, they want an expert too. They want someone they like and they trust. They like Tammy. They end up trusting her once they work with her, but they like her right off the bat. But they trust people who are experts too. Tammy's great. I don't know if I would take Tammy to a car dealership to help me get a better deal. But some of you guys, I think Tammy would be like, I love it. We got to.
No, I could probably be mean in a car dealership, I think.
Oh, you can. Okay. But that's great. But that's negotiation stuff. But some of you guys are experts, and you come off as experts, and you guys that's a whole different style of selling, and you can do both. And Tammy does both successfully. Once they get to know her, she shows them that she's sharp, right? But immediately they like her and they want to talk to her and all this stuff. I bet if I took her Pilates class, her instructor would never have talked to me about, the Villages or anything else, right? But that's Tammy's style. You have to have your own style. You do whatever you need to do. But back to goals.
I want to ask a question because Melvis, I think one of her goals maybe was the social media, and I'm curious because I know she's done it. If she's gotten how many like referrals or business has she gotten off of her social media just by starting that, like new things? I don't know if she's.
I'll let her answer in the chat because I want to read her chat. I did make myself some goals in 2022, and I did track them, and I did most of them. I'm one house away from attaining my goal, and I have it listed, and it just has not sold yet. But I kept them simple and attainable. Malvis, that is beautiful. That is that's the A part of SMART, attainable. And That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Congratulations. I hope you reward yourself somehow. Even though, well, you're one short. You have to punish yourself. Sorry, but I'm kidding. But reward yourself somehow for what you have done, because that's awesome. And keeping them simple and attainable. I bet you she didn't pick something that's going to make her unhappy. She didn't say, I want to drop my business to drop by 20%. If you met your goal this year in 2023, guys, just be frank with you, that is awesome. You definitely should commend yourself. Everybody else is 30% down. So you did great. You can add 30% to your total for that. And this year, guys, the reason I want you guys to set goals, and I don't want I want them to be attainable, but they should be a little bit better than this year's goals, because this year is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty good. And you guys who have known me for a while know I don't usually say that. I've never seen anything else good coming. So I think this is going to be good when rates drop. Because anecdotal evidence, I actually hear it on the street. People like, man, I'd love to, but I'm not moving in this market. Lavette, you had to hand up, or did you?
Yes. I had my hand up, and I would just like to share. Like Tammy, most of my goals are from referral. I got licensed in 2004, and then I took a break, did massage for quite some time. So just got back in this year, didn't do much. So 4, one is new construction. But it's just, you just have to speak to everyone, and referrals is not just from people you know. So my experience lately is with getting health insurance. And I spoke to this young man, I don't know him, but we had seemed to have good connection, because after he had gotten me some health insurance, he was offering me another type of insurance, which was coming from him. And I, in turn, asked him, tell him what I do, and we can help each other. The greatest compliment he can give me is a referral from friends and family. And he said, that's an awesome idea. I heard the conversation a lot about home selling or moving and buying, as I serve in 38 states. So hopefully that work out, and I can get some referral from him and share the referral.
You guys make sure you're wearing your name tags too. You'll pick up stuff from that. Guys, they're 2 for $12, and you will pick up a deal with those within the next 2 years. Okay. And as we know from these referrals and stuff, and this was not supposed to be a referrals class, but it's just turning into that because we picked on Tammy. But it's a great point. Make that one of your resolutions, please, to wear your name tag. Wear your name tag in public. You will pick people up. People will talk to you, especially as the market starts to change, and rates are going up and down. People don't know what's going on with rates, and they're not going up and down. They're going down now, but people don't know what's going on with rates, and they're going to ask you. They are interested in it. And guys, now I think that price has been maintaining stability for the last year or two. I think they're going to shoot up a little bit as more buyers hit the market, because sellers are still a little skittish. Inventory is still low. But neither here nor there. Let's go on. Some of you guys get a lot of your business from social media. And for those of you who are doing that, focus on that. That grows exponentially as well. People share your stuff, people like your stuff, and they turn into referrals. How many of you guys would just love to have all of your business be referrals? Right? You guys would love that. Everybody would love that, right? They just come in with no effort except for you just staying friends with the customers you've had before. Let's work on getting yourself to that, and that was a good goal to get to. Work on my referrals. I'm going to touch base with my client base X amount of times. Malvis, you have a raised hand.
Yes. Good morning. Can you hear me all?
We hear you.
Okay. I wanted to answer Tammy's question and share my story. Ryan, when you did this meeting back in 2021, I did went back in a very ghetto way, but I took a piece of paper and I took a Sharpie and I wrote down about 5 goals that I had for 2022. And I placed that paper, very ghetto, next to my computer, okay? And I put check marks, like a little square next to them. And in 2022, as I was attaining them, I would check them off. And I set my goal and I said, okay, let me see in 2021 how many houses I sold. And let me see what I want to sell in 2022. And as I was selling a house, I was crossing them out, like scratch them. And that kept me motivated because I was seeing like mid 2022 that I was actually doing something. It was very simple, nothing fancy, but I was doing something. And that brought me joy. I've also learned not to compare myself with other agents because my success is not necessarily your success. I've learned to do what works for me or what works best for me. Anyhow, so I am almost 100% complete if I can get this listing sold. So please, if you can bring me a buyer to my Bridgewater listing, take a look at 737 Bridgeway Boulevard and let me know what do I need to improve on, or take a look at it and let me know if you have anybody interested. But to go back to Tammy's question, yes, I also had a goal to become more social media exposed. I am old school. I'm old. I don't do social media well. I don't know how to do videos either. But I downloaded an application that I have shared with you guys before that allows me to type in a message and video record me myself. I don't need anybody to do it for me. And then from that app, I upload those videos into my Facebook page. I need to do more of them. I do know I need to start doing more of them, and that's my goal for 2024. But I also went back from the time that I started paying a company to do social media postings for me. I paid $50 a month, Tammy. That's $600 a year. That's a lot of money. And I have not yet gotten a lead from those postings. All I get is comments. All I get is like people see what I put in there, people's likes, but I have not gotten any leads. So I am considering removing that and work on more videos and do that myself so I can save $600 a year. And also, I am exploring another company that they do that, and it's cheaper. It's called Agent Create, and they do postings for you. They do templates, same as Canva, but they do the posting automatically. So I am looking into those options, Cami, because no, I did not get any leads from this.
Malvis, I have something that might be. I've seen your stuff. You see that I like it sometimes when I see it. Yes. I don't think it's hitting a lot of people, and I think you're hitting the same people a lot. And that is probably what's going on with that. You need to research how to get more people. I'd like you to get a bigger audience for those. They look great. They're very professional. They look great. Your messages are good, really good. They're exactly the kind of stuff I would talk about. I mean, not that that's genius or anything, but that's what I would be talking about too. I think they're great.
I like them, Brian. The thing is that I try to boost my post on Facebook, and every time that I try to run an ad for them, I pick like for 5 days only. I always get a notification from Facebook that it's not allowed, that it's against the housing whatever.
They are ridiculous about that. They're absolutely ridiculous about that. So I don't know what you're doing, what parameters you're setting, but even if you set no parameters, they're ridiculous about it. The certain area that you showed your ad in only had a certain demographic, and it wasn't to everyone's. I don't know why that's so difficult. Once in a while, I know they work because I see them sometimes, but I don't understand that either, Melvin. But I've seen it happen, and it's ridiculous. I mean, you'll be anyone within 3 miles of this listing, or 5 miles, or 10 miles, or whatever, and it tells you, well, that's not you're violating fair housing.
Yes. That's the message I get every single time, regardless of the posting that I'm trying to advertise. I just can't.
I think that they're so afraid of violating that something might violate fair housing, that they just will forego the, you know, the 20 or 30 bucks we would spend on boosting it. I don't know. But somebody probably knows about that. Tammy.
Man, has anybody gotten these notifications on their Facebook business page that you've violated copyright laws? I mean, it's like lollipop, and I'm just assuming that they're like they want me to click on this link because I've violated, and it's a person's name, but they want me to think they're coming from Facebook. So I don't know if anybody else has gotten those.
It's probably a scam.
Yes,
Facebook was
I
shutting
have
you
gotten
down.
them.
Yeah,
Yes,
Facebook would
Tammy.
shut you down if there was a problem, Tammy.
That's what I figured. Okay.
Carolina.
Hi everyone. Happy holidays. What I did was I looked at when I started with FRI, and I printed what I did for the last 4 years. And I don't really do SMART goals well because I'm all over the place. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, HOA and real estate. So, but I keep in touch with people. And so what I noticed, and I'm just guessing because I don't know how to follow this, but I'm pretty good with social media. I stay in touch with people. This past year, 2023, was better than 2022. I was really surprised at that. But I mean, the volume was half of what I've done the 2 years prior. So that tells me that I'm still doing what I normally did in 2020 and 2022. And I'm just guessing because the market shifted a little bit in 2022 to 2023, that shifted my sales. So my goals have always been to do a sale once per month. So I didn't accomplish my goal this year, but it was half. So I kind of rate that as I'm good because I set a goal of one per month, but I'm okay with one every other month. I don't know if that makes sense, but the way that I've done that is I stay in touch with all my customers that have bought from me or that I have sold a property. And this year, everything that I've done has been from either a listing that I sold or they're referring me their friends and family. So it's not a referral thing, but I think for me, it's mostly keeping in touch with people and just having conversations everywhere I go and just being myself. But like Tammy, I'm still not gonna do this, but like taking videos, it hasn't registered. I'm going places and I go to houses on a regular basis. I still don't record myself and I still don't do videos. But I guess we'll work on that for next year.
Well,
So-
okay, and this is where your goals come in, Carolina. If you're doing fine if you're happy with what you're doing, just do more of that, but make sure that you keep doing it. And whatever you were doing this year, make sure you keep doing it next year. And I believe, I don't know, and can't guarantee you that whatever you did this year, if you just repeat it, you'll do the same at business or more next year, just based on the market. But guys, if you want to improve your business, you got to up everything. You got to up everything. And what I want you to do is break it down. So break it down to how are you getting paid? What are you doing for business? What is actually working for you? And if addressing your referrals, and referrals are great, but they can be dry and then go crazy and be dry and then go crazy. You guys know that. You get 3 in a month and you get nothing for 4 months and then you get 3 more. It happens. So whatever it is that you're doing, don't feel like you have to do videos, guys. If you're not comfortable doing something, then don't do it. Part of Malvis's problem with her social media is that she doesn't have followers, and so she needs to get more of those. She needs to be able to branch out with what she's doing because her content looks great. I've seen it. but videos do spread faster than she's getting a lot of artwork. You might call it memes or whatever you want to call it. It's not like funny memes or anything, but it's, you know, it's pictures with words over them. I don't, they look fantastic. I just don't think she's having a big reach. I think she's hitting the same people all the time, the people who already follow her. So guys, you've got to break down what you're doing, what you're being successful with, and break it down to a daily thing. What can I do today toward my goal? And every day you need to wake up and say, what can I do today toward my goal? And before you go to bed, what did I do today toward my goal? And I don't care if you know, Malva said she just put it on she taped it up. It was ghetto looking and she taped it up next to her computer. How great does it feel though? And you guys know this, when you hit a goal and you put the check box on it, you put a check mark next to something that you did. How great does that feel? You know, it's fantastic. And it keeps you motivated and it keeps you going and it makes you want to check off the next one. And guys, you can put there, you can make a calendar or you can make a whatever with a bunch of check boxes for deals that you've done and closings that you've had. And that's great, but that's not going to make you have more closings. What makes you have more closings is the daily work that you put into it, the phone calls, the reaching out, the dropping off poinsettias, whatever it is. That's the kind of stuff that makes you do that on a large scale. Now, every poinsettia you drop off doesn't mean you're going to get a deal, right? But you do it on a large scale and you've created yourself a steady income. Guys, the numbers work out. Activity breeds success. I don't know how to tell you guys that. You guys know this before, because when you haven't done anything, you're not planting any seeds, you're not going to reap any harvest, right? So you've got to get out there and plant seeds, and you got to do it every day. And you got to figure out what you need to do every day to do what you're doing. Maybe your goal is to do 10% more than you did this year. Maybe it's 20%, maybe it's 50%. The reason I told you I think the market's going to get a little better, I think you'd be a little more aggressive than you normally would. But what if you just put in 10% more effort or 20% more effort or 50% more effort? What do you think would be your results? Daniel first, and Levette, and then Chad.
Hello there. I've got a question. You said something about a violation when you send postcards or you send marketing out there. Would that be a violation of any neighborhood or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that was a Facebook thing. That's a fair housing violation for Facebook.
Oh,
if you have a question
Facebook.
about now you can write stuff on a postcard that could be a violation if that was your goal. But let me see it before you send it. If you're going to make postcards, if you're going to spend any money on anything significant.
Yeah, I got a company I'm going to work for. They're going to be marketing and all that, and that's one of the goals for next year that I got. That they're going to start doing that. Also, I got real hard working on the web and working on everything now that I had to learn to get acquainted with everything. That's my goal for 24. I got somebody who's teaching me a lot, so that I get over, and then I do that marketing that I got, and I got magazines going on and everything. So maybe
Awesome,
something will pick up. Yeah.
Yep.
According to the lady there, that's the same thing I told the magazine people. I said, do not send it to the same address, because they had them going to the same address again. And I said, no, if you send it to the same address, I want to spread it out somewhere else. So that I have to be looking out.
Yeah, send it to me for approval, but you can't get just for compliance purposes. Make sure I look at it first, please.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you're not doing anything like that. And typically the postcard companies that work with real estate agents, they know not to do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But let me see it anyway, please. And that's for everybody. If you have a piece of material, send it to me, please.
You need the
but no, she's talking about Daniel. Facebook has rules about when you pick an area to send it to, if it's too weighted in one direction or another direction, demographically, socioeconomically, in any way, they'll kick it for not being fair housing. But it's just, I think they're just avoiding liability for that. But that's not a U.S. Postal Service thing. That's a Facebook thing.
Facebook. Okay.
All right. Levette.
Yes, Ryan, I know you mentioned in the SMART goal, set realistic goal. And as I was listening to Carolina, and her goal was 1. And if she didn't make that goal, then it goes down to nothing. So I was just wondering if you had set your goal like 2 or 3 and you didn't come off at 3 or 2, you would have at least make 1. So how does that?
It doesn't go, Livette, it doesn't matter. That's what I was just saying. It doesn't matter what your goal is. What matters is that you do the things necessary to boost your business, and then you'll hit goals. She's not really. So you can say Carolina, she said 1 a month. She really means 12 a year. And she did roughly half that this time. And she would be okay with 6 or 9, but she wanted 12. That's kind of where she was at. So don't focus on the monthly thing. You know, guys know that's not how it works out. Sometimes you guys have 3 in 1 month.
I
Carolina,
also
there you
goals, family goals, not just sales. Like, I don't know. I guess I didn't even explain it, but I have SMART goals because some of these, like the specific, measurable, and attainable and relevant to me, like sales is not like 100% of.
No, you have your cruise. You got to go on so many cruises a year, right?
Okay.
I do that. Like, spend time with my family. I like to, and that helps me achieve the sales goals. So I do a lot of different types of goals, not just like the sales goals.
And I think that's great. And I think that's what you absolutely, all of you guys should do that. Reach out to your kids once a week. I want to reach out to my kids twice a day, whatever it is. Everybody has different goals, right? Everybody has different things. And this is a great example. There are, Carolina's trying to figure out how to fit her cruises in between her closings. And some of you guys are figuring out how you're going to eat next Tuesday, right? So it's everything in between. And I'm happy for every single one of you, but especially if you're the one who wants to eat next Tuesday, you better get on these goals too, because that's very, very, very important. So great question, Livette. And that.
Yeah, I have an extra one. And so that's balance. I get that. So I'm looking into doing some marketing with CoreFact. I was wondering if anyone has done marketing with them and has been successful.
They spoke at our meeting, CoreFact.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason they came in because somebody was a couple of people. I don't have people come in, guys, unless some of you guys have worked with them and I know that they're being successful with people. So the answer is yes, Livette, and also the answer is incomplete because I don't remember who it was or they're not here.
It may have been Angie. I don't know if it was Angie
doing
that.
It was, Angie was doing stuff with them. She had postcards and stuff from them. I remember that.
Yeah.
Angie was doing something with them and somebody else too. But yeah, I think Angie introduced me to them. But we had other people too. Just like the people last week, I had the accountants. We had a couple people. Okay, before we go to Chad real quick, Malvis needs help with this 737 Bridgeway Boulevard. She has to sell it in the next 11 days to hit her goal. So just explain to your buyer, we got to close this quick so Malvis can hit her goal. Chad.
Hey, new to FRI. So hi, everybody.
Chad, can I interrupt you for a second? Because Chad is a Ocala expert. So anything you guys need when you guys have referrals and stuff for that area, let Chad know. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah. So I just got my first referral in this year. I've only been doing this stuff like a year and a half. So I'm still brand new to everything. But my goal this year is actually start putting some money into leads and trying to get some more business that way. Did doing the whole realtor.com thing, figured out the fringes of the town where to go. So I've got 4 or 5 leads I'm working right now based on those. But I've got my first referral in. I don't know if anybody uses it, but I use a program called Zoho. It's $45 a month, but I run my business off of it because it's got a CRM, like QuickBooks thing, e-sign, social media posting, everything you could possibly need. It's got it, and it all connects together, including like a MailChimp type thing. So I send out newsletters once a month, and then I can schedule all my social media posts, everything. But that's awesome. That's actually brought me in a referral lead on that. But I think on the referrals for me, it's just, because I do the mortgage and the title stuff too, they all kind of feed together on there. I actually had a Realtor.com lead that the woman literally, I talked to her. She didn't want a realtor. She just wanted me to give her the contact of the listing agent on there. So I did that, but I mentioned I was a mortgage guy. She's like, oh, my son needs a mortgage. Okay, well, I go talk to him. She, I guess, was hanging on the phone call with the son. And because I treated the son right, she ended up then wanting to use me as her buyer's agent after initially not wanting anything to do with the buyer's agent on there. So, and then she's actually sent me 2 people to follow up on in her community on there too. So, but my goals for this year, literally just, I want to get to a point where, near Carolina, where I can at least close one every 2 months or so. I'm not even going to come close to closing one a month for a while, just because I don't have the experience yet. But Ryan, I definitely agree with you. I believe the market's going to start blowing up in the next year or so, because I get the rates every day, and just I can tell you, just FHA has come down a full point from 2 months ago from where it was at.
Yeah.
So I think in the next 6 months, we're going to be back down in the probably at least 1.5 to 2 points from where we're at now that they're not raising rates anymore.
I tell you, if we get down in the 4s, it's going to go nuts.
Oh yeah, I think that's probably later next year. We're going to be back down in the 4s, and even on the refinance side, with people who still have some equity, things are going back down, potentially looking for investment properties and things again, using the equity in their homes to put down for investment properties. I think that's going to start picking up again too, come into next year.
Wow.
As well. So, but yeah, I'm excited to work with FRI and grateful for these meetings that you hold.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's Chad. Chad is in Ocala, like I said, and he is Mr. Ocala. He's a loan officer and a title agent there as well. So he's a one-stop shop there in Ocala if you guys have some referrals for that area. Zoho One. I want to learn more about that, Chad. That sounds like about
it's awesome. It's $45 a month. It takes a bit of getting used to set up, because like the CRM is completely customizable on there for what you need, but like you can even do your bookkeeping and everything, and you can make an online form for a lead capture, have that go to your CRM on there automatically, and then have your marketing automatically put them on the list for the next newsletter to go out on there. And you can even do it to where you can make your website on there, and then that all goes together too. So it's absolutely insane amount of stuff to be able to do for the money, but I use it for all of my businesses on there. So
that's fantastic.
I'll post the link to get to it. If anybody wants to check it out.
Thank you very much. That's fantastic. That's a really good deal. Any other points on that? Any other points on goal setting? Guys, come up with your goals, something attainable, something specific, measurable, relevant, and it does have to be time-based. It has to have an expiration. It has to be this and that. And don't be afraid to do it by quarters, by half years, whatever it is that you need to do in the first half of next year. But guys, break it down to what you need to do every week, every day. If you need help with that math or anything, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help you guys one-on-one, whatever it is. I probably don't have time to coach everyone, but I'm certainly willing to help you write these goals and check on you from time to time. And you got to check on yourself as well. Tammy.
Daryl's here, and we never heard about his. I don't think, did he ever report on his?
No, Daryl never did. Daryl's being shy for whatever reason today. Maybe he didn't do his hair. I don't know. Daryl, do you have any report on it? I saw you put something in the chat. Do you have any report on your on how your December 4th event went? I don't know why I remember it was December 4th, but I do. He's not responding. He, for those of you who don't know Daryl, he usually has his own segment on the program, but he's being shy today. All right, guys. I don't think Malva's ever answered the thing. I don't think she has it with her, whatever the video thing she was doing was. But you guys,
Yes, she did. She did answer it. It's it is on here. Oh, teleprompter. The app is teleprompter, if that's what you're asking.
or it's a teleprompter or something like that. The app is orange. So yeah. Okay. And guys, I would, if those of you, I would write down what Chad just put in there, guys. Yeah, she said it was teleprompter. I would write down in there what Chad just said about the the link he put to Zoho. That sounds like a tremendous deal. I mean, there's signature programs alone that are that much money. Plus CRMs are more than that. Plus MailChimps are more than that. Plus all the things that he said. That's just the three I can remember. There was more. So make sure you're doing that stuff. Romina, how can we help?
Good morning. I've been listening to all of you guys. My question will be, well, no question, but I was thinking, my goal last year, well, this year, the 2023, I basically, I got short by 3 sales because my goal last year, 2022, I said I wanted to have 24 sales. But I never thought about the total amount. So I'm thinking to change my goal this year and saying maybe instead of making this amount of sales, I wanted to make this amount of money. So I think that's going to work this year because if I put myself into the same goal again, saying, okay, I wanted to close 24, but then, you know, with maybe 15 sales, I will reach the same money goal, then I think I'm going to do it that way to change. I don't know, to make it different that way.
I love that, Romina. I actually would normally tell people the opposite. People say, I want to make, $100,000, whatever it is. And I say, well, what is your average commission? And they'll say, well, it's $10,000. Well, you need to do 10 deals, right? And then how am I going to do 10 deals? But with what you're saying is, and I appreciate that because that's a different thing. What you need to focus on is how am I going to do larger transactions? How am I going to get more into a luxury market, versus a whatever. I think prices are going to go up. I think a year from now they'll be up 8% or something anyway. So I think you'll get if you take that average throughout the year, it's going to go up an average of 4% from January to December if it goes up 8%. So assuming you do the same amount of deals throughout the year. I don't want to get analytical with that, but just let's say the prices are going up 5%. And at that point, you'll break it down to that. But how then, Romina, one of your goals needs to be, if you want to do the same amount of deals and make more money, or you want to do 15 deals instead of 21, but you want to make the same money or more money, I imagine it's more money.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I know where you are in your career. Some people just want to make the same money, but everybody's in, that's what we talked about earlier. Everybody's in a different boat, right?
Yeah.
So I know you want to make more money, but so how are you going to do, let's do 20 deals again. Let's do 24 deals this time, but how are we going to average 500,000 per sale instead of, 385, whatever it is. I'm making up numbers, whatever yours was. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to get into more of a luxury market or a step up market rather than a new home buyers market? And so, because there are some of you out here who are setting your goals to do, I want to do 6 new home buyer seminars. There's people trying to do just whatever deals they can do, the new home buyer deals. Guys, this isn't 5 years ago when we started doing these calls, or when I started doing the open forum from, 8 years ago, I guess, when I started doing open forums on Wednesday from office to office. This is where the first-time home buyers, average first-time home buyers was buying a house for $185. Now first-time home buyers are buying $350. I mean, this is it's significantly higher than it used to be. And the move-ups now are $485, so it's a whole different market than it used to be. So focus on that. Focus on how, if you want to do something different, make sure you get more move ups. Make sure you get in a little bit more luxury market. Focus your marketing different places. Do whatever that is. But that's how that happens. I mean, otherwise, I mean, are you going to turn down a first time home buyer this year?
No.
Okay, well then you can't control that unless you go out and find the higher end ones, because you're going to take some first time home buyers, and your higher end clients, they have kids that they're going to send to you to buy their first house, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it's going to go. You're always going to do cheaper houses, but I think maybe do you know what your average
Sales
commission, what your average sales price was?
price? 350.
350. And what was your average commission? Were you average 2.5, 2.75, something like that?
Yeah, maybe, because when I got new home sales, the commission was great, and that's what I did the last 3 months, trying to sell new homes so I can get the 5,000 bonus here, 2,000 bonus there, 4%. Some oh my God, construction companies, they were given 4% or even 5%. So if I make that as an average, I probably would say, 2.5, 3%. I don't know, because at the beginning of the year was different than at the end.
Right. So let's say you average, sounds like you might have averaged 3% by the time you got done. So, so you do that, and then you decide, I mean, you really decide that, how are you going to get into what was your biggest sale price wise?
Maybe 600 and something. One. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you start doing more 5 and 6s instead of 3s and 4s, right? Or 2s and 3s. So that's what you got to figure out, if that's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a difference right now. I mean, it's up to you if that's what you want to do. I'm not sure how you do that. But if that's what you want to do, then that's what you should start focusing on, maybe the 6 and 7s and 8s. And if you need to start farming Lake Nona instead of, wherever, or, whatever, I'm just throwing areas out, whatever.
Yeah, no, but it's not that I'm gonna, I just said that maybe, because 20 deals working with 20 transactions, well, it's a lot of work, which is okay. I like to keep myself busy. That plus videos, plus, keeping YouTube active or keeping Instagram active and all that, it's a lot of work. Which I like it, because like I said, I like to keep myself busy. But then I was thinking, what if probably I get, I don't know, maybe more listings, which is one thing I wanted to do, because I haven't got that many listings, because I work with a lot of people buying as an investment. So before, I used to go to Kissimmee, let's say, and people invest money in their properties that are for short-term rental. And now I turn them into a long-term rental. So they invest in higher, like residential properties. And I could probably try to get more of that and then raise prices. And, like you said, farming more in Lake Nona. I live in Lake Nona, and I wanted to probably sell more houses here for those investors that could probably spend more money. I don't know. That I have to kind of like figure that out, but maybe I can get it done that way. I don't know.
Well, I would hit your old clients too, Romina. For those clients that you have who still live, and this goes for all of you guys. People that you sold a house to 5 to 7 years ago. People move an average of every 5 to 7 years. And now why do they move that often? Because they have life events. Their youngest kid graduated high school or whatever. People moving in the house, out of the house. They had kids. They had 3 kids instead of 2, or 4 instead of 2, or whatever it was that they planned. And now they need a bigger house. They need a smaller house. They need a different house. They got to move because of whatever's coming up with their job or whatever. Maybe their last kid went to college and they want to go live near them somewhere. All kinds of reasons that people move and do things. Stay in touch with them. Make sure you are their realtor. You are their go-to when the time comes. And I always love that question. So what's next for you guys? It's not so much like real estate. I want to buy and sell your house. It's what's next for you guys. And that's, well, in July, my daughter is moving down from Chicago. She got married and they're going to move down here and have kids, and they want to be near the grandparents, whatever it is, there's always something. So just something to keep in mind. Reach out to all these people, and that's how you do it. People up. The way you get a lot of these 500 and 600 is because you sold a first-time home buyer for 300, and now it's time for them to move up. So they're going to buy for 485 to 650, you know, or whatever it is. So just keep those people in mind. Keep reaching out to them, etc. You guys have. I want you guys to remind everyone who bought it this year, all of your buyers from this year, that they've got to file homestead exemption by the end of February. So that's another reason to reach out to people. It's a good reason to reach out on January 1st or thereabouts, and a great reason to reach out twice in February just to make sure that they did it and see if they need any help with it. A good first step is to figure out how to help them with it if they need it. So look into that. You'll be able to send them the link, and it's not hard to do. Any other questions before we go? Carolina.
Okay, I need help with a listing to possibly get it under contract by next week. But I just did a little bit of comps, and there's only been 2 sales in the last 180 days. It's priced right. I just think that it's specialty, perhaps 55 plus community. I'm just not sure. It's not been listed for a month yet, but any suggestions, any feedback? I just need to see how to get this under contract, this property.
Did you put it in the chat?
Yes. But I lost connection, so
It's on there. It's on there. 27107.
Yeah. It's a beautiful property, but it's 55 plus, so I'm not sure what to do with that one.
Arlington Ridge. I know the place. If it's got a golf course, I know the community.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Good looking house.
And I pretty much have done what I've done with my other listings, and it's not moving. It's slow with the showings also. So
well, it is it owner occupied? It looks like it's owner occupied right now, right?
it is, but it's easy to show.
Are you getting no showing requests?
None. I got one last week. Maybe I've gotten 3 in the last, since I've listed it.
So it's been 40 days. So you're getting one every 10 days or so. Huh. It's a nice place. It shows well. So you guys know the axiom here. If it's not getting showings, it's overpriced. If it's not getting offers after it shows a lot, then it's not showing well. This one, if it's not, that's not a lot of showing. So I think the market, there's just not a market for it probably. Even if you can, you might be able to prove that it's priced. You said it was, you probably can prove that's priced right. There's just not a market for it right now. That'll change. And this is not going to be super rate oriented. So you're going to get a lot of cash or half cash buyers, stuff like that for these retirement communities. I don't think it's super rate oriented. So I don't know is the answer to that.
There's one in that community that went pending just recently for $400,000, and it wasn't more unique. It was on the market 48 days. So I don't know.
I think well then that's your market.
It's what? Yeah.
Then it right now, it's a 60-day market right now. Average properties on average. I didn't see. I think last time I looked, the average property was on the market for 55 days or something like that. I don't remember that for a fact, but I know it's higher than it has been in a while. So I wouldn't worry about your listing. I think I'd start setting expectations with sellers. Well, yeah, I stopped now, but you should have started before setting expectations where it's going to be a little bit longer.
I did. I did. So,
Okay. It's, I mean, it's a special property. You're looking at people who want to buy 55 and up.
right.
And they're probably going to buy with a lot of cash, maybe half cash or all cash. So I don't think it's a supermarket thing. I think it's just a demand thing right now. But I
Okay.
think it would show, you know, people are in town over the holidays. They're going to visit their kids down in Florida or whatever, and they're going to take a look, you know, hopefully. We'll see.
Okay, cool.
One thing I might consider doing is dropping the price $1,000 or something.
And see?
Yeah, just to get back on people's searches.
Okay.
Just an idea. $500, something, not going to kill you. Maybe get back on people's searches. Yeah. Yes, GK, it just takes longer right now. But there's nothing wrong with your listing. There's nothing wrong with the pictures of the house or anything else. It looks great. I'm assuming your price is right. I'm not going to do a CMA, but assuming your price is right, I think it's fine. All right.
Ryan, who are our commercial real estate agent?
AJ Babar.
Can you put his information there for me, please?
I'm going to have to, I'll send it to you. I'm going to have to look it up. I don't have the roster up right now. Actually, I can look up his command. Okay. I'll put it in the chat right now. All right, guys. If there's not any other questions, there you go. Levette, you want to get that before we leave? All right, guys. Any other questions before we go? All right, guys. Well, enjoy your holidays. I will see you in 2 weeks. We're not going to do one between the Christmas holiday and New Year's holiday, so I will see you in 2 weeks. Get these goals ready, guys. Get some goals. Get at least one that you can share. You bet. Make them balanced. Make them specific, attainable, measurable. Everything, guys. Relevant and time-based. And happy holidays to all. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you, guys.